750 workers from across the Pacific Islands say thank you to South Australia. They've gathered together for the first ever Renmark Pacifica Sports Festival in a huge farm versus farm competition.
This is a big part of who we are, gathering, coming together. We eat together, we sing together, we go to church together. And so this is an opportunity for us to do that away from home.
The brunt of these young men and women has been the saviour of the state's citrus industry. Australian workers wouldn't take up the work despite being offered $6,000 in relocation grants and even further.
Now we're also offered the keep your unemployment benefits and earn what you like in the regional areas as well. And again, not many people took that up.
Instead, a quarantine facility for international workers was set up at Paringa, where the final batch of Samoan workers are finishing up their quarantine this Saturday, before the centre shuts down for the foreseeable future.
It's a good facility, the quarantine. I like it.
Hotel quarantine in Adelaide was a steep adjustment for the islanders, but a regional holiday resort was a smoother transition.
Islanders out in the blue ocean, in the islands of the Pacific, all your life, and you come in confined to a hotel room for 14 days. Language barrier, a challenge as well. And so, yes, it was a very difficult experience for them.
Farmers split the quarantine bill with the state government and had to pay $2,500 per worker. Farmer Phil Croon says it added an extra 10 to 15% to his costs.
We're really lucky in the last 2-3 years. The citrus prices have been really good, so we can afford it.
These workers from Vanuatu are paid $30 per full bin of oranges, which takes one worker 45 minutes.
Because we're very fast in picking.
The women are slightly slower, but earn enough to support themselves and their families back home.
Mostly we get 1,500 per week.
The over 900 international arrivals have transformed the cultural landscape of towns in the Riverland, filling up local churches to sing songs from their homelands. Accommodation here is so tight that the resort where the workers were quarantining will now become their homes. The states and territories are working with the federal government to explore a range of different quarantine options for international seasonal workers arriving in the future, including a program that could allow those workers to quarantine in their own countries.
We haven't made decisions in relation to alternate models of quarantine for seasonal workers yet, but there's plenty of work happening with states and territories, the ag industry and Pacific Island nations to enhance the capability in those nations around testing, to help them with their vaccine rollout, and through that to hopefully find even more efficient means to get the workers in the future.
SA is pushing harder than the rest for a travel bubble with COVID-safe Pacific Islands nations before the next citrus season.
Fiji had some, but the other islands have got very little COVID, if any, so their risk is nil.
Joel Philp, Sky News, Renmark.